Welcome to Pharmacovigilance Podcast. I'm your host, Julia Appelskog, and today we focus on the artificial intelligence and its role in pharmacovigilance. It's a very interesting topic, and I have my guest today is Artem Horniyk from DrugCard, and I will ask you to introduce yourself. So, welcome.
Nice to meet you here, and thank you for inviting me for this show. I'm a co-founder and the chief product officer of DrugCard, which is the software as a service pharmacovigilance platform, and we use several natural language processing AI technologies to optimize local and global literature screening for pharmacovigilance, as well as other processes.
Tell me, how did you start to work with artificial intelligence?
About 2 years ago, when it was starting boom with GPT 3.5, when more and more people try to use this and trying to combine when and where we can use the new AI features.
Great. What's working?
What's working?
What's working?
We started with a few points where we can use it, and that was obviously in local literature screening. So the pre-assessment of articles which we built was working quite nice. As you know, local literature screening and global literature screening is even more complex, time-consuming for pharmacovigilance specialists to read all of those articles or to search the keywords and so on. And we put a task to get rid of many articles which are typically non-relevant, and AI is doing quite well. We trained it on our data set, on our expertise, what our users were previously doing manually, and those all categorization of articles which are already proofread became the database for teaching. We succeeded like more than 90% of accuracy of defining the safety cases in the literature.
Sometimes people mix in the AI and automation because both is very useful, and even when you speak about literature, the automation is extremely useful to set up for the workflows. How do you use AI for literature? What kind of tools do you use? Is it something you build in-house? Do you use commercially available tools? Do you work with vendors on this?
Sometimes automation and AI can be mixed, but like we clearly distinct it. So we started to build our platform as automation tool about 5 years ago. And that was an automation. There was no tool for automating local literature screening because there is a lot of different sources. So we tried to gather all of those sources into one database and automatically searching for products, for some side effects on recurrent basis. Like on a weekly basis, users receive some articles which contain those keywords. That is the automation part. But on top of that, we build the AI, the smart tool, which can understand what this article is about. Not just finding a keyword automatically, but understand whether this keyword of this specific product mentioning is something relevant for pharmacovigilance, whether a case or some safety information, or it's market research or something else, which we will need to go dive in.
Great. And you use both for global literature and local literature, right?
Main point was to use it starting with the local literature, and then we expanded to the global literature, specifically PubMed. But actually, for those years, we have covered more than 2,000 of journals of local non-indexed, and that is close to about half of PubMed already, and we are still expanding. We see that about from 5 to 10 times more articles we found in the local literature than in global.
Interesting. And when you work with the audit inspection, did you have any comments on the process using AI for the literature?
We are going through several audits from partners or the inspections of our clients. They sometimes have questions, sometimes we address those questions. Mostly there is no any findings about some process, and the AI we build is more kind of a recommendation. So that's an advisable option for the human decision. As current European legislation says, so there should be always human in the loop. Someone keep an eye on AI and to validation of the resources.
Do you see that company ready to move to electronic to do this through AI only, or some companies still feel no, we need the paper journal, we need local paper journal, and how many percentages still want to keep in their local paper journals?
We actually see the shift in the past 2 years that companies more and more they rely on automatic tools. There are still a few companies that they say that we need these paper journals, but that's a percentage of all the companies that we meet. So, and that's I'm happy with that because digitalization is a trend we will not omit anymore in the future.
Thanks. Let's then move to the other part of our talk and look into what doesn't work. Can you provide some example if there was any bumps in the road?
There were, because those implementation and design of AI tools is kind of a sinus, and that's with its highs and downs. We had several experiments how to extract the data from the article. So when we have the pre-assessed article and it definitely has the safety case, so then with another trained model, we train to extract data about the patient, the product, the reaction, and so on to automatically fill the form to have a case in the database. And we meet that the authors of the article are so creative that they write their text in so various manner. The AI sometimes is confused because they may start from very past of the medical history of the patient, which confuses AI. Actually, this reaction occurred. Or if they describe very detailed treatment when the patient was going afterwards, the AI is mixing what was the first, what was the second, what's actually the causality. And we had a specific action when the patient was referred to the hospital when he was 15, and then the reaction was when he already gone 16 because he was 3 months in the hospital, and then was a confusion for the AI what actually was the age of the patient.
Do you see this kind of creativity in the literature processes that they create something that's not there?
Yep. Also, so when sometimes it also depends on how the model is trained and the input instructions. And sometimes the specific model are very good students. If you tell them find BP relevant information, they will find if there is no relevant information trying to generate it. But we see that with the evolving of a large language model, such part of hallucination is decreasing.
Interesting. Yeah, I like this comparison.
We at the moment we achieved about 95% of accuracy not to miss any safety relevant information, which is very good. Still, with such a high percentage of no missing, we have, I say, rather big amount of not very relevant articles. They may have safety information, but not for a specific our product, increasing the workload for PD specialists. But those misses, those 5% of misses, are usually due to the high volume of the input articles. Sometimes there is a Congress book, a conference proceeding with 500 pages with a lot of articles. And that is simply does not fit for the context window of LLM, and it is like cutting. We do not throw it back, we cut it for chunks, but still not the whole initially provided bunch of text, and can be hard for LLMs to analyze it. That's also a challenge.
So what's regarding integration AI system with other systems that already exist in the company? Can you comment on the integration part with other systems?
It's always the question by case. So we are building our internal system, DrugCard platform, which can cover different pharmacovigilance processes. But there are a lot of systems in the world and in the clients. So we provide the API, which can produce only data and can be imported to the other system.
Let's move to the next part of our talk. It's regarding adoption and implementation of AI. I think it can be implemented everywhere. I don't know, do you have example where it cannot be implemented in the pharmacovigilance space?
If we can just mention the critical processes, all those signal detection, yes, like monitoring safety, yes, writing all of those documents, PSURs and so on, yes, we can. Signal detection, yes. Analysis of safety data, yes. I suppose almost every process can.
So it's excellent tool that work for a lot of things.
It's not like a plug-and-play toy, but you need a human to think about the place where you can use this tool.
So we spoke a lot about automation, literature, monitoring, so the big process. But if you think about your everyday life, so what kind of task do you use AI in your everyday life in the work environment?
Personally, me, I use it for learning some new topics which I do not know, whether it is in pharmacovigilance, something new or not, more in technologies, how it's evolving, and so on. We use it for analyzing some big documents, regulations, and we use it for transforming my notes, how the system would work into more structured way of instructions to the developers, how to develop a specific feature or tool, and so on, to proofread the reports which my team is developing for the clients. And also, so that actually on an everyday basis, those big companies like Google, Microsoft will have its internal scribing tools for meetings especially, and they work pretty well.
Then move to next topic that's regarding regulatory and looking from the compliance point of view. In your opinion, how regulators you in use of artificial intelligence right now?
We see they are more and more suitable for use for AI. There is a beneficial that the regulatory framework is evolving, especially in European Union. What we last heard on the PV conference last summer from MHRA, they say that we know everyone is using. No one definitely knows how it works, but please try use it. We just require human in the loop and quality check. The regulation is evolving, so that's the strength of the European Union, that they react quickly for those field need in such a kind of framework. If something is generated by AI, so we clearly state what is generated, what is AI based, and how it is done. So we do not hide it under some code, but our understanding and the user should know what is done by human, what is done by AI, or what is done by some specific automation algorithm. Just search for keyword. That's the one variant. If it is AI generated summary for an article, so we clearly stated. If it is AI assessment, we also stated that was done by AI. Please refer to it, but AI can make errors, so please rely with caution.
Yes, thank you. And maybe just to add that the AI office recently published the Code of Practice on AI Act, and there was a lot of work on the transparency and how to address it. So maybe for our listener who are interested in it, they can find in the Code of Practice and how to meet the transparency need. What is the future of AI in PV?
It's always hard to think what will be in the future, right? I can tell what we are working at the moment. So we are building the agent as like this is starting era of agents. So the agent which will be categorizing, assessing articles specifically on the task, on the specific client product, not just the article as a whole, and doing the actions in the platform, giving only oversight and the quality check. What we see now, it's retrieval augmented generation. I suppose we will still be here speaking for AI pharmacovigilance in a few years, but we'll look for.
Thank you. What's important is a human oversight, and you cannot just rely on the human oversight, and maybe stay curious and try to learn more how to implement in your everyday life. So I have two questions for you. One is, if you give an example of AI tools that you like and that you use in your work life and in your personal life. So what's your favorite tool?
There are a few tools. So mostly we use the chats, like from OpenAI, different models of chats, the agent. We use the automation tools. We are using the AI tool named Pharmacovigilance, which help us to parse different websites and take their meaningful information from our database.
And for your private use, for personal use, which one do you prefer?
It's mostly the ChatGPT, and which is on my phone, which is doing a lot of tasks from explaining in simple ways for my kids the different topics, or creating the fairy tales and so on.
Thank you. And then the second question was on learning. Like you mentioned before, there is so much information available out there. So, but what can you advise our users, so our listeners, how to learn more about this topic, or which platform, how to find information?
Well, it's OpenAI, so it's a huge OpenAI Academy with a lot of webinars, and they frequently organize trainings like online, which you can join and participate and become aware of new features. Or the same from Google, Google created a very good training on AI using their Gemini or another large language models, like that's starting from basics. And still there is various courses on such platforms like Udemy or Coursera, which also can be used.
Thank you. And then maybe a final thoughts from you. What is one piece of advice that you can give the company who is starting to use AI or want to implement AI in their everyday work?
I would advise that start doing it. So it definitely can be some mistakes or difficulties, but without a start, it cannot be done successfully. So there is a lot of tools, and even if a tool is not suitable for you, you will learn a bit how to use it. There is a website which is named There is AI for that, which collects a lot of tools for a specific small to big task, and you can find on those sites almost for any task you need a specific tool which is already designed. You can try those tools. There is a lot of free trial just to learn how to use it. Also watch the podcasts in your area and try to gain knowledge.
Thank you. So for our listener who want to connect with you, how and where can they find you?
Please visit the DrugCard.io website. There is the contact pages, or you may contact directly me via like LinkedIn.
Artem, to being here today and share your insight and use of AI in pharmacovigilance. My name is Julia Appelskog, and I'm leading this Pharmacovigilance podcast, and stay in touch. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thanks.
No step too small. No voice unheard, no patient lost in a single word. We stay alert, we do our part Safety for citizens, close to our heart. It's in our DNA. Safety